All right, guys, what's up, CBFL? This is an interview we have here with my friend, and so basically, I already know her, so I'm gonna let her introduce herself, so you guys can get to know her too. So, your name? What? Tell me your name and tell me who you are.
Okay, well, what's up? um, my name is Katelyn Feliciano. I am 21. I go to San Francisco State University as a campus servant here in California, and I'm also a mission volunteer for our community.
MV.
My bad. Yeah. Wait, isn't that what I said?
Yeah, no, Vision Volunteer MV. That's right.
Oh yeah.
Um, so San Francisco State University, right? So, what is your
Yes.
major?
I was originally a cinema major, because I'm super into visual stuff, which is why I'm like never in front of the camera. But I am now a communication major. Well, in the process of becoming a communication major, and my emphasis is in marketing.
Marketing. Um, what are like what? So, what experience do you have like making videos, like editing, filming, whatnot?
So it's kind of been a weird journey for me because I um middle school, like from sixth grade to I'd say my sophomore, maybe beginning of my junior year in high school, I really wanted to be a psychologist. And
Wow.
I knew that I was going to go to school at SF State. And I thought I was going to go there for psychology. So it's kind of funny to me that I'm at SF State, like I always knew I would be, but I'm there for something totally different. But anyways, I started creating videos or getting into visuals my junior year when I took a video productions class because I thought it was going to be really fun as just like an elective that I needed to take. And I didn't want to take like ceramics. So I decided to take video productions. Um, that kind of started my journey handling equipment, but I've always been really interested in what visuals, I guess, what the visuals team does because, at least in my area back home in Fremont and or like in the Bay Area, we never really had a visuals team. We never really had anyone who was like walking around the camps taking pictures, unless it was like the parents, because and um, and the kind of um, extent of visuals in our area was like PowerPoints.
Hmm.
And I always thought that like whenever I saw a video from some other part of the nation, I was like, man, like that looks so cool. Like it makes me really want to be there. And I really wanted people to feel that way about our ministry, about our God. Um, and so it was actually this brother from Texas who really, really got me into um, becoming passionate about visuals. His name is Rold Credo. And his videos on his YouTube channel are just so bomb. Sorry, Rold, if you see this, because you know I always gas you up, bro. But but he really was the inspiration for me to begin. And so ever since then, it's been about I think 4 or 5 years now since I've began visuals, and I'd like to say that I continue to improve and learn new things about visuals because this part of the ministry and this part of my life, I guess, is really um, it's really hard,
Hmm.
but it's so rewarding and so beautiful when you get to export the thing you've been working on for like weeks.
Yeah.
But yeah, and to see everyone's reactions to like the videos you make, it's not so much because I made it that I'm like, oh wow, like people like me, but it's like I hope that people are getting the message from those videos, like the overall message of like God called me to do this, or God is calling you to go to this event, or
Hmm.
to hear the message from the whatever video that I put out.
Yeah. Cool. Nice. So I think I mean obviously you've been in this community for a long time. How long have you been in this community for?
I joined in April of 2011.
That's the youth, right?
Yeah,
So
so I
that's
was like 13,
yeah,
I think.
7 years.
Yeah, something like
Yeah,
that.
I don't even want
Dang.
to mention. I don't even want to talk about how long I've been part of this. Anyway, um, so in the youth we grow up, young teens, we finish high school, and then obviously what this video is about CBFL, and so
Mhm.
I just want to give some context that before SF State and before Sac State, CBFL didn't really exist here. Texas was first, or they're the most active. But
Mhm.
I want to ask you, like, what got you into CBFL? I think we were just starting out when you got into it too, and I guess
Mhm.
how has the journey been up to now?
Okay. The very first CBFL event that we had here was a Discovery Weekend in 2013, and that was like a game changer. Like it was probably one of the most fruitful and nourishing retreats I've ever experienced. Not just for the content or for the people who were leading it, because it was kind of, I think it was mission volunteers and full-time workers that executed that weekend. Um, but it was like also the venue. We were like in the middle of like nowhere, and there were no like bathrooms or anything that was like kind of luxury was just like pushed out, right? And we we slept in tents on like really rocky ground, and we ate kamayan, so it was like banana leaves and then food on the table, and we eat with our hands. And we showered in this like small tent with a hose, and it was so cold. um but it was more so like that experience coupled with all of the content of the Discovery Weekend, of like truly, I guess, moving forward out of the youth, and the youth's mindset of like discovering God first and foremost. But then I guess my first experience with CBFL was like discovering who I am in God, and who God called me to be. And we hear that a lot, like in the ministry we hear that a lot, that God has called you to something greater. And but I guess, at least for me, that weekend was the moment or the point where I realized that I really want to pursue what that calling is. um I really fell in love with this ministry, and um I knew it was new, but it was like new and exciting instead of new and scary. Because
Mm,
I know a lot of people in my area, they felt like, oh, this is scary. It's a new ministry. Like, who's gonna do it? Like we don't know what we're doing, which is true. We don't know what we're doing. We didn't know what we're. I feel like maybe we still don't know exactly,
mm,
but I think that's what I love the most about CBFL, is that um, we we get to grow with the ministry, as the ministry is also growing, if that makes
mm,
sense, because in the youth it's so established already.
mm,
And there are a lot of like, I mean, of course in CBFL we still do have the pastoral formation track and like and things like that, but because it was so new, is still so new here. um all of us who are campus servants, all of us who are in CBFL right now, have really grown so much closer because we are growing with this ministry, and moving forward with it.
mm,
And it was also, like, I guess my passion for this ministry, or my excitement for this ministry, really stemmed from the excitement that I got from the other brothers and sisters, where they were like, oh, this is like so cool,
mm.
and we're in college, and we're actually, we don't have to stop being in the ministry, because that was such a big thing, where like
Mm.
I'm too young for SFL, but I'm too old for YFL. And
Right.
so having CBFL introduced to us was like, oh, praise the Lord. Like it was really an answered prayer,
Yeah, yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, I think definitely before we started out, it was like one of the most needed things in this community, because there was so much, especially with the
Oh
parent
yeah.
coordinators. They're like, the youth shouldn't go to SFL. Don't invite them too early. Don't invite them too early. And so we really needed, to bring it to the college campus. And speaking of that, the nature of CBFL, kind of what makes it CBFL is that events should be conducted on campus. And I know in SF you've had some challenges. In Sacramento they've been doing okay. They've been able to make themselves a club. I want to, I guess, ask you to sort of address that. What have the challenges been in sort of evangelizing on the campus? Because it's not just about youth transitioners, right? But also attempting to evangelize to other Catholics or other Christians that are on the campus.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like the biggest obstacle for us in San Francisco specifically is that San Francisco is so like liberal. Like
Right.
everything in San Francisco is like, oh, you want to be this? Yeah, you be that. And it's like that's not a bad thing. Don't get me wrong, but it's also like it gives people almost too much freedom. Um, in one of my classes last semester, we learned that humans need order. Like we need structure and order and
Mm.
rules. No matter how much we feel like we need to break free from those things, if you can imagine the world with no rules, no like anything chaining us to whatever, bounding us or restricting us, we almost actively search for it. And you can see that with like for example, if your parents like you grow up in your household, right? And your parents are like kind of strict with you. They like don't let you stay out too late. They don't let you eat junk food or whatever. They give you rules. And then you get to like let's say you get to like 18 years old and you're an adult now um and your parents are like, okay, balakas buhay mo, right? Just let
Mm.
you do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Sitting there like, oh yeah, like I can do whatever I want, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But then like there comes a time where maybe like a month passed and you got to do all the cool things that you wanted to do or whatever, like stay up late, go out whenever you want, eat everything.
Mm-hmm.
Um and you're like, okay, well then what now, right?
Yeah.
Like you've indulged yourself in all of these things that you thought you wanted or you needed. Um and you have no one telling you what to do, but then you almost kind of like need that security. And so to tie that into how we struggle as a CBFL, it's like people are still in that stage where they are away from their parents, away from their rules and their restrictions, and they are wanting to do whatever they want. And
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, that's not doing anything that has to do with Catholicism or being a there. Don't get me wrong, there are people on campus who are open to like a Catholic organization. We do have the Newman Center, but it is very small. And we also have other branches of Christianity on campus. Like there's a group that's non-denominational, another one that's I think like Baptist, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so the biggest struggle for us is like evangelizing to other people without scaring them away, because
Mm.
the second they hear, oh, Catholic or Christian or God, they're like, oh nah, like I don't
Yeah.
want to, like I'm too into my world, right? I'm too into the world. um and like also people kind of like lint sometimes because um
Wait, they what? Sorry, that
like
cut out for a second.
it's almost like a repellent sometimes
Mm.
because um in my classes when we introduce ourselves to other people, like let's say your professor asks you to say a fact about you or something like that, and I'll introduce myself and I'll say that I'm Catholic because it is the biggest part of who I am. And then it kind of like you see the change in people and how they and how they speak to you.
Mm.
um Not because they have like an instant resentment towards me or anything like that because I'm Catholic, but it's more like, at least from what people have explained to me, that they feel like, oh, she's holy, like I don't want to
Oh.
like sprinkle my sin on her or something like
Oh.
that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or they're like, oh, like I'm too sinful, I don't want her to look at me a certain way or something like that. And so and in the experience of my fellow officers here on this campus, that we really struggle with showing people that even though we are people of God, that doesn't, like for some reason people see us as like almost as if we're on a pedestal,
Uh,
but we don't put ourselves there. And um, it becomes really hard to connect to other
mm-hmm.
people. if that makes sense.
No, yeah, no, I get you. Yeah, I also went to school in San Francisco, so it was many years ago before we had CBFL, and it definitely something I noticed because I grew up in the youth too, and when I graduated high school, it's like a lot of people went their separate ways, and they didn't really have a place to go to. Some people chose, okay, they find their Newman Center on campus, they can go there, but for us, they always say womb to tomb community, right? Womb to tomb community, and so definitely having this a transition period available within the CFC-FFL community is really cool. And it's not just about the CFC-FFL community, right? It's not just about our culture and our history, but just having new experiences on the campus, like as a group, and having households and stuff on campus.
Yeah.
I want to ask you now, like, what are your goals? Like, I mean, I know you're MV, and I know you've put a lot of time into campus-based, and you are the officer as well, but having trouble like juggling all these things. But I want to ask you, like, what are your goals for campus-based, not just in San Francisco or in Sacramento, but also in NorCal or our region?
For sure, to become recognized by our respective schools.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a goal for every CBFL. But I think for me personally, I would just want for our CBFL to continue to grow and to continue to not grow, I guess, how to say, like, grow not only in numbers, but in nourishment. That I would really love for our CBFL to have more resources. Like in the youth, we have so many retreats and things like that where discover ourselves, our talents, our God, and things about each other and how we should be as Catholics. But I feel like, at least in California, we haven't really branched out past the Discovery Weekends
Mm-hmm.
and our households and our assemblies. And I know, like, the people here are yearning for so much more. Like, they are really like their hearts are really calling for so much more than what we have. And what we have is amazing, but I would want to keep the ball rolling and continue to be even more amazing. And in turn, with all of the joy and the beauty and the love that we experience, that we internalize, that we become that beauty, that joy, that love, and then it shines so brightly that other people who aren't a part of our ministry, who didn't grow up in the youth, will see that and see, oh wow, like, I want to know why they're so happy. And that's kind of like my goal, not only in CBFL, but just in life, because I think that is the best way to evangelize and to call to other people, because I feel like our calling to other people is to allow them to realize their calling to us. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe so. Yeah, it makes sense. No, for sure. Well, thank you. And to kind of address what you said too, we are planning another retreat that is not a Discovery Weekend. We're gonna try to do an exit retreat coming this spring. So I ask you and anyone else who's watching us to pray for us as a region. I mean, Northern California, San Francisco, Sacramento, the Bay Area, SoCal, everyone else that we're trying to build campus-based even more. I just asked you all to pray for us as we plan this coming retreat, which is going to be called Exert, and we're going to see if we can really make this come to fruition. And we need it. We need like you said, the resources, like a venue and stuff like that. So we're still looking. We're still trying to get it rolling. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. That's pretty much it. I mean, do you have any shout outs before we conclude?
Shout out to my fellow CBFL officers here in Northern California. Love y'all. Jeremy, Kevin, Kayla, love y'all. Those are SF State. Woo woo.
Nice.
That's it.
That's
you.
It.
Shout out to you.
Shout out to y'all. Shout out to SF boys and girls. Okay, so I want to thank Katelyn for coming along with this interview. It's sort of informal, first time doing this, and I hope everyone who's watching enjoyed this and got a little bit insight from it, or maybe you've been blessed by it. Thank you, Katelyn, and I'll see y'all later. Say bye to the people.
Bye, people.
Bye, people.